we made this dribble effect on our character. He's just squatting and then he jumps to shoot the ball. In this lesson, we are going to make the before and after moves as well. So before that, we wanted him to dribble the ball. So all we have to do is to select the keyframes. Let's say he needs to dribble for 1 second and just bring these here. We have to go back and change the auto bezier one more time. Any keyframe that you move, it jumps out of the auto bezier. So that's that. Let's bring the first one in. Make sure you hit U and bring all of the keyframes. Don't leave any out, or else the movement of your character is going to look weird. Select them all and just hit this one more time so we can get them all to look the same. Select them here as well, auto bezier. And after this, we're not going to touch these keyframes. We're just making new ones. So the scene would be complete. Forgot one out. Alright, so let's come in the beginning of the keyframe. And to dribble the ball, we have a similar look because he will be squatting when he's dribbling the ball. We only need to change his arm movements. So let's bring the ball layer. And let's actually do the easiest parts first. So after 2 seconds, let's make him come back down and just stand to look at the ball. So go on the body, all right, and then bring down the Y value the other way so he comes to the floor. And without moving your time indicator, we want to also bring down the leg. And then make this 0 degrees so it's straight. First make them 0 degrees so you know how much you're supposed to come down. And basically just come down until he's touching the floor. You also need to bring the body down a little bit. Select that keyframe. Move him down. He could bend his leg a bit because he is engaged. He's excited about his ball. Let's also rotate the body back. We can hit 0. Oops, not like that. Just for him to look normal. Yes, that would be around 31 degrees. And on the hip, we want to actually rotate. Let's make a keyframe. Move it back. We want to rotate it so it looks normal. And we didn't turn these to auto bezier. Let's do that real quick. All right, see the shape changes. All right, so after he makes the shot, we also want to change the arms. So the arms are gonna come down. Let's just bring it down like that. The other arm is also gonna go. We're going to hide it behind the body. So now he's just looking at the ball. We may have to slow this down. So this is what he looks like. He comes back to normal. And let's have a look at the normal afterwards. So it just looks like that. We need to make his body come lower. So hit the last keyframe. And just bring this guy lower. So he's just like waiting to see what happened to his ball. And that's good. Then he's just going to stay this way until he sees the ball. So let's say that's about 3 seconds. Now let's work with the arm, the dribbling part. So while he's here, let's go in the beginning of the keyframe. Here we're only working with the arms, so you can go ahead and close the foot layers. And the body, don't need to move it much because he is squatting. But again, if you know how the basketball poses are, you can go ahead and add some cool tricks as well. we're just doing a normal dribbling. So the front hand, which is the left hand, is going to do most of the action. So we're going to just move the hand L up. I think we need to open the arm a little bit. So it's going to be up. The other hand, we can keep it behind because we dribble with one hand. Don't mind the ball. You just put it somewhere for reference, just so you can see if the arm length is okay. It's okay for us. So hand R stays that way. Let's close this. We're only working with the front arm, which is hand L. Move in the next keyframe. We're going to move this guy down. It's going to dribble the ball. Before we do that, let's just connect the ball to the hand. So let's first choose the right area. Okay, then connect it to hand L. We're gonna work with the parenting later, but we just want to see, go on this. We just want to see how we can dribble. So until here, it's going to come down and the ball is going to jump and then come back up. Here, we're going to bring it back up. Next frame, bring it down. And we could just copy these four, Control C, Control V. So the dude's just gonna move his hand up and down. Let's close this in and have a look. Okay, so he's dribbling, he gets the ball, he shoots it. We have to work with the ball later. But yeah, that's all there is to the hand L. Select all of these. They're already F9. You just have to make them auto Bezier. Select them all, auto Bezier. And I think we have the same thing on, hit P on the arm. This is okay. Make sure everything is auto Bezier. See, in the body we have 2 keyframes. If they're not all auto Bezier, the movement is going to like glitch. So make sure you go over each one, hit U to get access to their keyframes. That way you know that you have to change the keyframe style. Got this one too. Okay, so our character is ready. We made him dribble the ball a bunch of times, and then we made him shoot. And then he's going to make his way down and have a look. So the body is finished. Let's work with the head because we needed to move. There's a lot of excitement going on. We have to show that with the body. Select all of these layers, hit M to close them. And go to head, which we already fixed the anchor point. I'm going to hit R on that. And when he's dribbling, let's get hand L, hit U on hand L. Have a look at the dribble keyframes, which is here. So until here, we want him to kind of look down and then look up. Make a keyframe here. Go in a frame back. Make him look down. Let's bring the 0 keyframe in the beginning. This down keyframe here. Come in forward and put it back to 0. So he's going to just look down and up. He's looking at his ball. Let me just delete the middle keyframe. I want him to look even lower. Something like that, just looking straight at the ball. Bring that here, create a good space. Control C to copy them and paste it. We're not going to loop because when he's shooting the ball, his head movement will be different. So you see right when he's about to make the ball, he's going to look up and make a keyframe here. So go to the hand L keyframes and like go through. So when he's about to make a shot, make another keyframe. Here we want him to look back. So he's leaving his head back because he's looking at the hoop to decide the angle that he will shoot. And again, Here we want him to look even further. He's looking above the ball. Next keyframe. It's okay. He keeps his head like that. And then here, let's make a keyframe. In the last keyframe, just put it back to 0. So he's just looking. Hit F9 on all of these. Select all and hit Auto Bezier. So once we close this, we have a full movement of our basketball player. So he's dribbling the ball, he throws it, he comes back down. And before the final position, I'm going to move the final keyframes a bit to the side because it looks a bit odd. It's like he's suddenly looking the other way. So select U on this. Get the last keyframes here. We can make more keyframes on the in between these guys so it looks more natural. Hit U. Always make sure to move the keyframes within a layer one by one. You don't want to select multiple keyframes from different layers or else you will move the layer itself. So don't do that. In the middle, after he threw his ball, we can go ahead and make another style. So come to the body. The body always moves down first. Move the body down. Okay, so when it goes to the next frame, it comes even down. Rotation, here we made it 31 degrees. So in between this, let's make it like 25. Just a little bit of turn, and then here at 31, he can just finish up his final look. For the hand R, we are going to move it a little lower, like here. We can see a bit of it. For the hand L, which is the most, which has the most movement, I'm gonna just do this. So in the next keyframe, it comes down. For the foot, we want to set the rotation to not 0. Let's go for -10. Do the same thing for the other foot. Position, let's look at the other keyframe. It's 1797. We can add 1785. Oops. In the next keyframe. 1785. So we're creating like a transitional keyframe. Here the next one is 1785. So let's do on the next one. Let's do 1770. All right. So he's going to slowly transition from his movement and just have a look at the ball. Again, we have to go here. And the final keyframe, we will make it Auto Bezier. Okay, we made our character dribble his ball, he makes his shot, and then he looks to see what happens. Now, let's finish off this animation. We can go ahead and just delete the basketball reference. We don't need it anymore. Now for the ball, let's close these layers first. We need to make the ball parent to the hand at certain times and unparent at other times. So this is the parent constraint thing that we saw in the DoItBastel plugin. We're going to have a look at it here. We're going to put the ball at the beginning of the timeline, put it in the starting point. So first detach it from the hand, put it where it needs to be. So it would have to be somewhere here. Then we can select that layer, go to DoItBastel, go to rigging, and come down to parent constraint. Make sure you're selecting the ball. And then we have this effect control. We have an effect on this ball right now. So what this means is that at certain points I can connect the ball to the hand, and at other times I could just make the ball move. And this is another cool thing about DragPixel. You could do this with objects that connect at certain points and then don't. So let's get the hand L, the hand that is dribbling the ball, so we can have a look at the keyframes. On ball, we want this to go to layer, connected to hand L, so a lot of layers. Here we are going to make a keyframe. So here that it's when the character is holding the ball, we're going to turn on the keyframe, hit U on ball. Okay, so we have one keyframe right now. Go to the next keyframe. Here it needs to, it could still be in the hand actually. So bring this guy here. So the weight is 100 until here. When the weight is 100, it means that it's fully connected to the layer that we chose, which in our case is the left hand, the hand holding the ball. When the weight is 0, the layer is not connected. So let's go to the next keyframe. Actually, we need to make it detach here. So here we need it to turn to 0, type in 0. So that's that. So it's holding the ball and then it detaches. Let's go to the next keyframe. This is where it would still be detached. Over here we want it to be attached. So go to ball again, make it 100. So you see it jumps back. Oops, not more than 100. Just type 100. So it attaches back. Next keyframe, this is where we drop the ball, so 0%. And just do this until you have your dribbling effect completed. And then the last keyframe, we're going to put it to 0, which would be there. Now, once we've done this, we want the ball to, move. So hit P on ball, and you can see it's red because everything is changing. Let's go ahead and go in from the beginning. I'm going to cut this to where right before the actual shooting starts. So here he was dribbling from 0 to 1 second. Go in the beginning, readjust the position first to where it needs to be. All right, turn on the stopwatch. Hit U on ball so you can look at the 2 keyframes and decide where you want it to attach and where you want it to detach. So here it was attached. Next keyframe, it's not. So we're going to move this guy down. It's going to go down all the way. Okay, in the next keyframe, it's going to come back up because it bounced. Goes back up. Selected there. Next keyframe, again it goes down. We're dribbling the ball, and this will be rather fast, so you can always just go back and slow down the keyframes by adding space between them. You could go ahead and copy the keyframes. I just like to do this to make sure that it's exactly the way I want it. And then over here, we want it to bounce in the guy's hand because he's about to shoot. All right. So let's have a look at what we made. So you can see he's bouncing the ball right before he's about to, shoot the ball. And apart from this, let's add a rotation, and we're going to make the ball turn every time. So turn on the stopwatch, hit U, so we get 3 sets. Next keyframe, we wanted to rotate. I would say by 180 degrees. So it just rotates as it's going down. Next keyframe, we're going to make it 360. Next keyframe, now we have 1, so just add 180, 360. but because there is a pause, we don't want it to turn in the hand actually. Let's have a look. Okay. It's okay. Here, we don't want it to move. Next keyframe, we want it to move. Here, I guess it could move in every frame. Next keyframe. Next keyframe, we're going to add 360 again. Next one, 180. You could put a smaller number if you're not sure. It's all about testing and seeing how things work. 180 and finally 360. So the ball turned 4 times, and that's just going to make the dribbling more natural. So there's the ball. He's doing it really fast because he's a professional. You could add space if you want. I'm going to leave it that way. Hit F9 and we're going to go to Auto Bezier. Got a lot of keyframes. Do that. All right, and now he's just dribbling his ball. Fit. Let's have a look. So he dribbles the ball and he's about to shoot. Here's where we need to detach the hand again. So right when he's about to shoot. So go here, go through each of the keyframes. And I believe he shoots here. Yeah, so in this keyframe where he has it held together, we are going to make a keyframe and go in the next frame to make the weight 0 again. So right now it's not attached and it will stay detached for the rest of the thing. Now to make it go in the hoop, we need to work with the position keyframe. Let's first make these Auto Bezier. Okay, so at this keyframe over here, we're going to go to position. Let's first make a keyframe before the actual movement. Select the ball and just make it go here. Go towards the ball, towards the hoop. There we are. Next keyframe. Next keyframe on the hand layer. So around here, the ball should reach the hoop. So just extend this here. And see, it's going to fly towards the hoop. And here we need to make it maybe rotate in the hoop a bunch of times. So we're going to do the hoop animation in the next lesson, just so this won't be that long. But we saw how we could use the parent constraints from Do It Pastel, and it's really helpful for times like this. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.